Being data-driven means making strategic decisions based on empirical evidence rather than intuition, systematically acting on information collected at regular intervals. This involves relentlessly focusing on critical questions, identifying the most important tasks, clarifying the team's core objectives, and rigorously tracking key performance metrics. The sheer scale of modern data, exemplified by facilities capable of storing a yottabyte or 1,000 trillion gigabytes, underscores both the opportunity and imperative of leveraging vast information resources. However, harnessing this potential demands unwavering commitment to data security, quality, and integrity. Without robust protocols to ensure accuracy, protect sensitive information, and maintain consistency, data becomes not an asset but a liability. Organizations that master these principles transform raw data into actionable intelligence, enabling precision in planning, execution, and continuous improvement across all initiatives. This framework categorizes data into three fundamental types, each with distinct characteristics and applications. Structured data, including numbers, text, and dates, is highly organized, easily queryable, and forms the backbone of traditional databases and analytics. In contrast, unstructured data, such as images, videos, and documents, lacks a predefined model, requiring advanced tools like AI for processing and interpretation. Bridging these two is semi-structured data, which blends organizational elements with unstructured content, enabling flexibility for modern web-based and hierarchical data formats. The classification extends to logical data types, encompassing numeric, integer, and character formats, which define how information is stored, processed, and utilized within systems. Understanding these categories is essential for designing efficient data architectures, selecting appropriate analytical tools, and ensuring integrity across collection, storage, and analysis phases. Mastery of data typology empowers organizations to transform raw information into actionable intelligence, regardless of its form or complexity. The data science lifecycle represents a rigorous, iterative process that transforms raw data into actionable intelligence, beginning with identifying problems and understanding business objectives to ensure every analytical effort is strategically aligned. This is followed by systematic data collection and meticulous processing to clean, normalize, and prepare information for analysis. The cycle advances through data modeling and in-depth analysis to uncover patterns, build predictive insights, and validate hypotheses, culminating in model deployment where solutions are operationalized to drive real-world decisions and value. This end-to-end framework emphasizes that data science is not a linear task but a dynamic, repeatable discipline reliant on continuous refinement, ethical rigor, and cross-functional collaboration. Each phase informs the next, creating a closed loop of learning and adaptation that allows organizations to respond to new data, evolving questions, and changing market conditions with precision and agility. Brainstorming is a dynamic, collaborative process designed to generate innovative ideas and solutions by leveraging the collective intelligence of a team, where participants build on each other's contributions free from immediate judgment or criticism. It thrives in an open environment that encourages unrestrained thinking, making it exceptionally effective for tackling complex problems and sparking creativity. While traditional brainstorming prioritizes quantity and freedom of expression without evaluation, advanced brainstorming incorporates structured tools and techniques to streamline the process, reduce friction, and ensure the session remains focused, productive, and aligned with its intended scope and goals. Brainstorming is a dynamic, collaborative process designed to generate innovative ideas and solutions by leveraging the collective intelligence of a team, where participants build on each other's contributions free from immediate judgment or criticism. It thrives in an open environment that encourages unrestrained thinking, making it exceptionally effective for tackling complex problems and sparking creativity. While traditional brainstorming prioritizes quantity and freedom of expression without evaluation, advanced brainstorming incorporates structured tools and techniques to streamline the process, reduce friction, and ensure the session remains focused, productive, and aligned with its intended scope and goals. Interviewing is a systematic, strategic tool for eliciting critical information directly from individuals or groups, relying on carefully crafted questions and meticulous documentation of responses to capture insights accurately. Beyond mere data collection, it serves as a powerful mechanism for building trust and strengthening relationships between project managers and stakeholders, fostering deeper engagement and collaboration. The approach is typically executed through two distinct methods. Structured interviews, which use a precise, predefined set of questions to ensure consistency and comparability, and unstructured interviews, which adopt a flexible, conversational format that adapts to the interviewee's responses, allowing for spontaneous exploration of complex or unexpected topics. Surveying is an exceptionally efficient method for systematically gathering data from a wide audience, enabling the collection of broad, representative insights into attitudes, behaviors, and characteristics related to project specifics or outcomes. It is often the only practical means to capture a statistically significant snapshot of diverse perspectives across large or dispersed groups. As a self-administered tool with minimal control over responses, surveying emphasizes accessibility and scalability, though it requires careful design to ensure clarity, minimize bias, and yield meaningful, actionable data for informed decision-making. A questionnaire is a highly structured data collection instrument featuring predefined response categories, such as multiple choice or scaled questions, designed to generate quantitative, statistically analyzable data efficiently. Its strength lies in standardization. Questions must be exhaustive and unambiguous to minimize interpretation errors, though it may include limited open-ended items to capture nuanced respondent perspectives. Crucially, while all surveys use questionnaires, not all questionnaires are surveys. Surveys represent the broader research methodology that employs questionnaires to systematically gather and analyze responses from individuals or groups, transforming raw answers into actionable insights about behaviors, attitudes, or characteristics. Checklists are deceptively simple yet profoundly effective tools that enforce consistency, accuracy, and completeness in executing tasks by systematically verifying that no critical step is overlooked. They transform complex procedures into manageable, actionable sequences, ensuring work is performed safely, in the correct order, and to a reliable standard every time. To maximize their utility, checklists must be purpose-built, clearly organized, meticulously refined, and rigorously tested to eliminate ambiguity, exemplified by practical applications like a stationary stock checklist, which itemizes essential supplies to maintain operational readiness and prevent resource gaps. When implemented correctly, checklists become non-negotiable instruments of quality and efficiency. Focus groups are a powerful qualitative tool that allows us to dive deep into participant perspectives in a dynamic and interactive way. Typically involving 8 to 12 participants, the strength of a focus group lies in its ability to encourage conversation, spark new thoughts, and bring to the surface nuanced opinions that might not emerge in more structured research formats. Because they're inherently participatory, these sessions become a space where varied experiences can intersect, challenging assumptions and generating rich, multidimensional insights into the topic at hand. That said, conducting an effective focus group requires more than just gathering people in a room. One of the key challenges is maintaining a balanced discussion, ensuring that every voice can be heard, rather than letting a few dominate the conversation. It's also essential for the facilitator to stay neutral, avoiding any cues or biases that could influence the dialogue. Without careful moderation, the data gathered may lose its authenticity and reliability. By being mindful of these potential pitfalls, like distractions, dominant personalities, and unintentional facilitator influence, we can ensure that our findings truly reflect the diversity and depth of the participants' perspectives. What we're looking at here is a more structured and targeted offshoot of the traditional focus group, often referred to as a requirements workshop or a facilitated group session. Unlike broader focus group discussions, this format zeroes in on gathering concrete input specifically around a project's goals, deliverables, and expectations. These sessions are typically led by project managers or business analysts and are designed to foster alignment across stakeholders, clarifying not only what needs to be done but also why it's being done and how success will be defined. The true power of these workshops lies in their ability to bring all key players into the same room, whether literal or virtual, to hash out requirements in real time. It creates an environment for open dialogue, negotiation, and consensus building, which can be far more effective than exchanging endless email threads or piecemeal interviews. Through guided collaboration, these sessions help surface any conflicting expectations early in the process, establish shared understanding, and set a firm foundation for the project. In many cases, this approach significantly reduces the risk of scope creep and missed requirements later down the line. Market research is the backbone of informed decision-making in any organization. At its core, it's a systematic process of collecting and analyzing data to understand market conditions, consumer behavior, and industry trends. This isn't a one-time effort, it's an ongoing practice that helps businesses stay relevant and responsive in a constantly evolving environment. Market research can be conducted internally, using existing company data and customer interactions, or externally through third-party studies and field investigations. Both sources contribute valuable insights that can shape product development, marketing strategies, and even long-term vision. At a deeper level, market research is about bridging the gap between facts and perceptions. It digs into the hard data, like sales numbers or demographic statistics, while also uncovering the emotional and psychological drivers behind consumer choices. Questions like, what do people really need, or what motivates their loyalty, are just as crucial as tracking market trends or competitor moves. Research tools can range from structured surveys and interviews to digital tracking and observation. And sometimes, organizations outsource this function to specialized agencies for broader reach or objective analysis. Ultimately, the goal is to align business offerings with genuine customer desires while anticipating where the market is headed next. When conducting market research, ethical responsibility must guide every step of the process. It's not just about collecting data, it's about how we treat the people who provide it and the integrity with which we handle the information. First and foremost, participants must be fully informed and willing. There should be no coercion, misdirection, or hidden agendas. Ensuring transparency means clearly explaining the purpose of the research, how the data will be used, and providing a genuine choice to opt in or out. Securing organizational approvals and following established codes of conduct reinforces trust and accountability within the research framework. Equally important is the responsibility to protect participants' privacy and maintain confidentiality. Responses must never be traced back to individuals unless explicitly agreed upon. Researchers should never manipulate opinions or steer responses in a biased direction, as this compromises both the ethics and the accuracy of the findings. Beyond ethical conduct, there's also a responsibility in how results are presented. The insights gathered need to be translated into meaningful, understandable visuals using the appropriate tools, charts, graphs, dashboards, or infographics, so stakeholders can grasp the data's implications quickly and accurately. Ultimately, ethical integrity paired with thoughtful presentation transforms raw data into responsible, actionable knowledge. Benchmarking is a strategic approach that helps organizations evaluate their performance by comparing their products, processes, or practices against others, either internally over time or externally with peers. The goal is to identify top-performing methods and use them as a standard for improvement. This isn't just about spotting gaps, but about learning from proven practices and setting realistic, data-driven goals for progress. Internally, benchmarking is highly reliable because it's based on past executions, making it detailed and often applicable to every activity. Externally, while comparisons may be less exact due to different conditions, external benchmarks still offer valuable insights. Industry reports or competitor data can inspire innovation and highlight areas where major improvements are possible. Whether internal or external, benchmarking helps teams move from assumption to informed action. Data analytics is the rigorous scientific discipline of transforming raw data into actionable insights, employing systematic techniques to uncover patterns, trends, and correlations that drive informed conclusions and strategic decisions. Alternative analysis provides decision makers with viable options for either continuing existing programs or initiating new ones, ensuring they can make informed, strategic choices. This process not only highlights potential cost-effective actions but also serves to identify areas where efforts may overlap, thus preventing redundancy. By carefully examining various alternatives, organizations can pinpoint solutions that reduce risks while enhancing the likelihood of delivering successful outcomes in future programs. This proactive approach promotes efficiency and fosters smarter decision-making, ultimately driving the long-term sustainability and success of the programs. Alternative analysis provides decision makers with viable options for either continuing existing programs or initiating new ones, ensuring they can make informed, strategic choices. This process not only highlights potential cost-effective actions but also serves to identify areas where efforts may overlap, thus preventing redundancy. By carefully examining various alternatives, organizations can pinpoint solutions that reduce risks while enhancing the likelihood of delivering successful outcomes in future programs. This proactive approach promotes efficiency and fosters smarter decision-making, ultimately driving the long-term sustainability and success of the programs. Cost-benefit analysis is a method used to evaluate and compare the costs and benefits of a particular intervention or policy by expressing both in monetary terms. This approach is especially useful for decision-makers who need to assess whether a specific intervention, or multiple intervention options, is worth the investment. The central question that CBA seeks to answer is whether the benefits derived from the intervention outweigh the costs involved. Trend analysis is a method used to forecast future outcomes by examining patterns and data from the past. By comparing data points over a specified period, trend analysis helps to identify movements such as uptrends, downtrends, or stagnation, providing valuable insights into the direction of certain variables or indicators. Investors, business managers, and analysts commonly rely on trend analysis to make data-driven decisions and refine their strategies, ensuring more informed actions based on observed patterns. Reserve analysis in project management is a technique used to estimate and allocate funds to cover potential unforeseen costs or risks that may arise during the course of a project. This process involves identifying and setting aside a contingency reserve, which acts as a financial buffer for unexpected expenses or events that were not initially anticipated in the project plan. The key steps in reserve analysis typically include reviewing historical data. By examining similar past projects, project managers can assess how much money was spent on unforeseen costs or risks. This historical data helps estimate a reasonable amount to reserve for potential unexpected expenses. Identifying risks. Understanding the potential risks, such as scope changes, resource shortages, or unexpected delays, allows for more accurate reserve planning. Estimating costs. Based on the identified risks and historical data, project managers estimate the additional costs that could arise and allocate appropriate funds for these risks. Reserve analysis is critical because it helps ensure that a project has sufficient financial resources to deal with uncertainties without derailing the project timeline or objectives. By planning for reserves, project managers can respond more effectively to surprises and maintain control over the project budget. Risk data quality assessment is a project management method used to evaluate the quality of data related to risk management. It helps to assess how reliable, accurate, and complete the available risk data is, and whether it is adequate for making informed decisions about potential risks in a project. The goal of RDQA is to ensure that risk management efforts are based on sound, high-quality data that can lead to more accurate risk identification, assessment, and mitigation strategies. Key aspects of risk data quality assessment include assessing data quality. This involves evaluating the accuracy, reliability, and integrity of the risk data to ensure that it provides a true representation of the risks associated with the project. Low-quality data can lead to misguided decisions, so ensuring data quality is essential. Data quality dimensions. Data quality requirements should be defined in terms of various dimensions such as accuracy, the correctness of the data in representing the real-world scenario. Completeness, whether all necessary data elements are present. Consistency, whether the data is consistent across sources and over time. Timeliness, whether the data is up to date and relevant for the current situation. Reliability, the trustworthiness of the data source. Alignment with organizational objectives, the quality of risk data should align with the project's goals and the broader organizational objectives. This ensures that data is useful and relevant for making decisions that support both project success and strategic priorities. Setting targets and thresholds, it is essential to define specific targets and thresholds for each data quality dimension. These targets help to measure whether the quality of the data meets the required standards and if it is fit for use in the risk management process. By conducting a thorough risk data quality assessment, project managers can ensure that the data they use to identify and manage risks is of sufficient quality to make reliable, informed decisions, ultimately improving the likelihood of project success. Sensitivity analysis is a technique used to evaluate how changes in input variables or assumptions affect the output or results of a model or decision-making process. It helps assess the robustness of a model by analyzing how sensitive the outputs are to variations in the inputs. This method allows decision-makers to understand potential outcomes across different scenarios, highlighting the key factors that can drive change and affect results. In practice, sensitivity analysis involves adjusting one or more input variables within a specified range and observing the resulting changes in the output. This can help identify which inputs have the greatest impact on outcomes and inform decision-making by evaluating the risk and uncertainty associated with different choices. Example: a classic example of sensitivity analysis could be a business considering a price increase. By conducting a sensitivity analysis, the company can determine the price increase threshold at which customer sales begin to decline. For instance, it might show that raising prices by 10% results in a 5% drop in sales, while a 15% price increase leads to a 15% drop in sales. This helps the business understand how much flexibility it has in adjusting prices without jeopardizing customer demand, guiding strategic pricing decisions. Sensitivity analysis is a powerful tool for risk management, helping businesses and organizations make more informed decisions by quantifying the effect of uncertainty in their models. Proposal evaluation is the process of assessing a proposal to determine the offeror's ability to successfully perform the contract's requirements and to ensure the proposal meets the needs of the project or organization. This evaluation helps to identify the most qualified and capable vendor or service provider, as well as to establish whether the proposed price is fair and reasonable given the scope of work. Key aspects of proposal evaluation include assessment of offeror's ability. This involves reviewing the offeror's qualifications, experience, technical capabilities, past performance, and resources to determine if they can effectively meet the contract requirements. The goal is to ensure that the vendor has the necessary expertise and capacity to complete the work successfully. Price evaluation. The proposal evaluation process also includes determining whether the price proposed by the offeror is fair and reasonable. This involves analyzing the cost structure and ensuring that the pricing reflects the value of the services or goods being provided, without being excessively high or too low to compromise quality or performance. Comparative analysis with other proposals or market rates may be conducted to gauge the fairness of the proposed price. Compliance with requirements. The proposal must align with all the technical, legal, and administrative requirements set forth in the request for proposal. This includes evaluating whether the offeror has met all mandatory criteria and specifications. Risk assessment. Proposal evaluation also includes identifying and assessing potential risks, including financial stability, operational risks, and risks related to deliverability and timelines. This helps to mitigate future issues and ensures that the chosen offeror can meet the project's needs within the given constraints. A performance review is a tool used by managers to monitor, evaluate, and assess an employee's performance over a specific period. It is a structured process that helps to align individual performance with organizational goals, identify strengths and areas for improvement, and guide professional development. Key aspects of a performance review include goal achievement. performance reviews help employees understand how well they are meeting the goals and objectives set for them, ensuring they are on track to meet expectations. These reviews provide an opportunity to discuss progress and address any challenges. Skills and knowledge assessment. Through the review, managers can identify the skills and knowledge an employee needs to succeed in their role. This helps to pinpoint areas for training or development, enabling employees to enhance their capabilities. Motivation and empowerment. Performance reviews serve as an opportunity to recognize achievements, offer constructive feedback, and discuss career aspirations. Positive reinforcement can motivate employees to perform at their best, while clear guidance on areas for improvement empowers them to grow. Communication channel. The performance review fosters open communication between the employee and their supervisor. It provides a formal space for discussing achievements, challenges, career goals, and any concerns, ensuring that employees feel heard and valued. Informed decision-making. Performance reviews provide valuable data for key organizational decisions such as promotions, raises, or professional development opportunities. They also offer insights into team dynamics, resource needs, and potential leadership opportunities. Overall, performance reviews are vital for maintaining effective employee engagement, aligning individual goals with organizational objectives, and driving continuous improvement within a team or company. Earned Value Analysis (EVA) is a powerful project management technique that integrates scope, schedule, and cost data to provide an objective measure of project performance and progress. It allows project managers to assess how well the project is adhering to its plan, enabling them to make informed decisions and take corrective actions when necessary. EVA involves three key metrics. Earned Value (EV). This is the budgeted cost of the work that has actually been completed at a specific point in time. It reflects the value of the work performed, measured in terms of the original project budget. EV is a key indicator of project progress and can be compared to both planned and actual costs. Actual cost (AC). This is the actual expenditure incurred to perform the work that has been completed by a specific point in time. AC represents the true costs incurred, including labor, materials, and other expenses. Planned Value (PV). Also known as budgeted cost of work scheduled, this is the amount of work that was planned to be completed by a specific point in time, expressed in terms of the project's budget. By comparing these three metrics, EVA helps to assess project performance using the following formulas. Cost variance CV equals EV minus AC, and indicates whether the project is under or over budget. Schedule variance SV equals EV minus PV, which indicates whether the project is ahead or behind schedule. Cost Performance Index CPI equals EV divided by AC. This shows how efficiently the project is utilizing its budget. Schedule Performance Index SPI equals EV divided by PV, which indicates how efficiently the project is using its time. Benefits of EVA. It provides early warning signs of potential issues related to cost and schedule. It allows project managers to forecast future performance and make adjustments to keep the project on track. EVA is a comprehensive, objective, and quantitative method for measuring project performance, ensuring greater transparency and accountability. In essence, earned value analysis is a critical tool for monitoring and controlling projects, ensuring they are completed on time and within budget while meeting the defined scope. Work performance information refers to the data and analysis collected during the course of a project to assess its progress. This information typically includes metrics that help project managers track cost, schedule, and scope performance against the planned objectives. Two key indicators used in performance analysis are Cost Variance CV and Cost Performance Index CPI, which are derived from Earned Value Analysis EVA. Cost Variance CV. Cost variance measures the difference between the earned value and the actual cost of work performed. It indicates whether a project is under or over budget. Formula. CV equals EV minus AC. If CV is greater than 0, then the project is under budget, such that you're spending less than planned for the work completed. If CV is less than 0, then the project is over budget such that you're spending more than planned for the work completed. If CV equals to 0, the project is on budget, such that you're spending exactly what was planned for the work completed. Cost Performance Index (CPI). Cost Performance Index is a ratio that measures cost efficiency and the effectiveness of resource utilization. It compares the earned value AV to the actual cost AC to determine how well the project is performing in terms of cost. Formula: CPI equals EV divided by AC. If CPI is greater than 1, then the project is under budget and performing well with respect to costs. If CPI equals to 1, then the project is exactly on budget. If CPI is less than 1, the project is over budget and resources are being used less efficiently than planned. Both CV and CPI are essential metrics in assessing the financial health of a project, allowing project managers to make data-driven decisions to control costs and avoid potential overruns. You are the project manager for a project to build a fence for $1,000. You are midway through the project, and based on the project schedule, you should have completed 50% of the work, but the actual accomplishment was only 30% of the fence. Also, $400 has already been spent on the project. What are the EVA for this project? Answer: approach. To perform earned value analysis for this project, we need to calculate the following key metrics. First, the budget at completion BAC. This is the total budget allocated for the project, which is given as $1,000. BAC equals to $1,000. Second, the planned value PV. This is the value of the work that was planned to be completed by the midpoint of the project. Since the project was planned to be 50% complete by this point, PV equals to 50% multiplied by 1,000 USD, which equals to $500. Third, earned value EV. This is the value of the work actually completed at this point. Since only 30% of the fence has been completed, EV equals to 30% multiplied by 1,000 USD, which equals to $300. Finally, the actual cost AC. This is the actual money spent so far, which is given as $400. AC equals $400. Key metrics: BAC equals $1,000. PV equals $500. EV equals $300. AC equals $400. Now let us calculate the following. Number 1, cost variance CV, which helps us determine if the project is over or under budget. Cost variance equals to EVAC, that is $300 minus $400, which equals to negative $100. A negative CV indicates that the project is over budget by $100. Number 2, the schedule variance SB. To determine if the project is ahead or behind schedule, we calculate schedule variance. SB equals EV minus PV, which equals to $300 minus $500. Therefore, SB equals negative $200. A negative SV indicates that the project is behind schedule by $200. Thirdly, Cost Performance Index CPI. To measure cost efficiency, we calculate the Cost Performance Index, which is EV divided by AC, that is 300 over 400, which equals to 0.75, that is 75%. A CPI of less than 1 indicates that the project is not using its budget efficiently and is over budget. Finally, we calculate the Schedule Performance Index to measure schedule efficiency. SPI equals to EV over PV, that is 300 over 500, which equals 0.6, that is 60%. An SPI of less than 1 indicates that the project is behind schedule. The summary of EVA for the project. The project is over budget due to cost variance equals negative $100. The project is behind schedule as the schedule variance equals negative $200. The CPI of 0.75 indicates the project is spending more than planned for the work completed. The SPI of 0.6 shows the project is behind schedule in terms of work completed compared to the planned schedule. This heat map quantifies and prioritizes risks by evaluating 2 critical dimensions: probability, which measures the likelihood of a risk event occurring, and impact, which assesses the severity of its consequences should it materialize. By assigning numerical values to these factors, such as 5 for very high probability and 80 for very high impact, the tool calculates risk exposure scores, transforming subjective perceptions into actionable, data-driven insights. This enables project teams to visually identify high-priority threats and allocate resources strategically to mitigate them. The framework underscores that effective risk management hinges on systematic assessment, not intuition. It forces teams to confront both the uncertainty of risks and their potential damage, ensuring that responses are proportionate and evidence-based. By translating abstract risks into a structured matrix, organizations can proactively address vulnerabilities, optimize decision-making, and safeguard project outcomes against disruption. This matrix systematically categorizes risks based on their probability, from rare to almost certain, and impact, from negligible to catastrophic, to visually prioritize threats and guide resource allocation. By intersecting these dimensions, it classifies risks into clear tiers: minimum, low, moderate, high, and extreme, enabling teams to swiftly identify which threats demand immediate mitigation and which can be monitored. This transforms subjective uncertainty into an objective, actionable strategy for proactive risk response. The tool's power lies in its ability to compress complex assessments into an intuitive, digestible format, ensuring stakeholders quickly grasp critical threats and their implications. It not only defines the likelihood and consequences of risks but also underscores the necessity of detailing mitigations and recovery plans. By enabling rigorous prioritization, it ensures efforts focus on high-impact, high-probability risks, turning vulnerability management into a disciplined, data-driven process that safeguards project outcomes. This matrix visually maps and prioritizes risks based on their probability. From impossible to high likely, and impact from low to very high, assigning each a numerical value like risk equals 12 in the high impact, high probability quadrant to objectively determine urgency and severity. This graphical representation transforms abstract threats into a clear, actionable hierarchy, ensuring teams focus resources on the most critical issues first, such as risks 3 and 12, which demand immediate attention. The accompanying mitigation strategy tailors responses to each risk's profile. Avoid for high-priority threats, like risks 2 or 3, transfer for sharing liability like risks 1 or 6, control for managing impact risk of 10, monitor for lower priority items risk of 5, and accept for negligible cases risk of 9. This structured approach ensures responses are proportional, strategic, and aligned with the risk's position on the matrix, turning assessment into decisive action.